to keep it simple at first, everything is energy. Everything. So when you make a decision, you come to a crossroads in your life, you've got to make a decision. Do I get married? Do I get divorced? Do I take this job? Do I go to this school? You're trying to make a decision which road you want to go down. We have these crossroads. And you know, either way you choose, your life is going to be different, won't it? If you marry this person, or you don't, or if you get a divorce, or if I choose this job, should I move? Your life will be different no matter which direction you go. So you're trying to make a decision. And you have a lot of energy going into making that decision. Then you finally decide, okay, this is the way I'm going to go. All right, what happens to the other alternate decision that you could have taken? What happens to that? It also is created. And another you is living out that other decision. And that gets a little complicated for people. You're living on this life and you're focusing on your decision you made, but another you split off over here and is living that other life. And we're not supposed to know about it because it would be too complicated. That's what they say, you can't know it all. Imagine how complicated it would be if you knew about these other parts, having all these other experiences. I have clients that come to me and they'll say, you know I'm living another existence in another city and I have another family even. I occasionally peek in on them and they have said this is possible, but you're not supposed to do that because it would cause interference. Because the other reality is not aware of what's going on over here. Now, I hope I'm setting you on what I'm going to get here. These are a lot of complicated concepts. That's the simple way of explaining this. It can also get much more complicated. If it splits like that, it also means every time you make any decision of any kind, it will split again. And again, and again, and again. To where finally there's hundreds of yous living all these different realities. I think you understand a lot of this, don't you? Absolutely. Because he's getting it too. But I know it's hard for our minds to accept, so we don't dwell on it. That's why I call the books mind candy. Read it, well, it's interesting. Then you got to put the book down and go on about your own life. Because otherwise it can really scramble your brain. And I've also been told that if you don't put much energy in that other decision, eventually it will dissipate anyway. So the one you make now is the one you have chosen, and that's going to be your life you focus on. Don't worry about the other one. I know there's a woman, I'm another person who never got into any of this. I don't know if she's sitting home knitting and watching TV or what. I don't know what she's doing. But another me didn't get into any of this. I wish her luck wherever she is. Because we know we grow from a baby to a child to an adult, and we have experiences in our life where time is passing. How can it all be happening at the same time? They said it's not happening at the same time because happening means a beginning and an end. It's existing at the same time. It's existing, if that makes it any clearer. The ETs said time is an illusion. They said mankind is probably the only species in the universe that's found a way to measure something that does not exist. Leave it up to us to figure out a way to do something. But They said, we'll never travel in space as long as we are trapped in time. And we are trapped in time. One day after the other, 1 week after the other, we have to be somewhere at a certain time. So, this is only an illusion we have created for ourselves. So if you go deeper, you find out all of these lives are existing at the same time. I don't know if that's sunk in yet. I'm going to give you something else that'll be a little deeper. Is this okay? Because I never know how much people can handle, and I definitely don't want to overload your brains. I would say, treat it as mind candy. Just an interesting thing. You can take it or not when you leave. Say, well, okay. But at least I'm presenting it out there, what I found anyway. The only way I can handle this stuff is just to say, okay, it's interesting, go on to the next thing. Okay, they said, if everything is energy, you are energy, the floor is energy, the chair is energy, everything around you is energy. It's all vibrating at different frequencies, okay? Now, we all come to crossroads in our lives, don't we? We all come to points when we could go one direction or the other direction. And no matter which way we chose to go, our lives would be totally different, wouldn't they? You know yourself, if I'd married this guy, my life would have been different. If I'd taken this job, my life would be different. You know, these crossroads are very important. Your life could go totally different from each way. When you come to these crossroads, you're thinking about what you want to do. You're trying to make a decision. All right? You decide, I'll go this way. You put energy into each decision. What happens to the other decision that you did not choose to focus on? What happens to that other possibility? What? It becomes a reality also. You have created the other possibility with your mind. In that other reality, another you is living out the other decision. And I always say, well, I wish them luck anyway. It's because that's how powerful the mind is, and when we're creating. We don't go that way, but it comes into existence, it comes into reality, and another you is living that other reality. Gets a little deep, don't it? That's just the tip of the iceberg. Because they said, doesn't have to be major decisions. Every time you make a decision of any kind, whether to stay home from work or go to work, whether to take the car or not take the car, whether to cross the street or not cross the street, every time you make a decision, it splits again. And another you is acting out the other one. This can really get mind-blowing, can't it? And so finally, there's an infinite number of realities all occurring at the same time. They existing at the same time, they said. And it's only real for you, the one you're focused on at the present time. It'd be very complicated otherwise, wouldn't it? I've had people come to me that say they have dreams that they are living in another city and they're doing something totally different, and it seems so real. And they want to know what was going on. And I was told, that's just another one of them, another facet that's existing, that living another life. And they said, it's better not to look into it. Don't try to find the person because it will only be confusing. Live in the one you're focused on at the present time. So it can get pretty deep anyway. Okay. Now something is happening in my work, and I'm going to get back to the New Earth in a minute, because in the past, for the past 30 years, when I've taken people into past lives, they've always gone back into other lifetimes, found the answers, described the whole lifetime, And, you know, I've written many books about lifetimes these people have lived. That's the way it's always been.